actually ready for any eventuality. You will recall in the presidential petition 2017 by Raila Odinga versus Uhuru Muigai, that's the current president in 2017 at the Supreme Court, while the election was annulled. When it was nullified, you will recall that there was much celebrations at the Supreme Court. Then the proceedings were being held at the Supreme Court in town, rather in the CBD, and there was much celebrations then there by the NASA supporters then, and so today they are a bit keen to ensure that there is no disruption of activities much here in the county, and so that's the reason they have actually ensured that they have more police officers to try ensure that we don't have maybe such a situation like we had in the 2017 election, whereby businesses came to a standstill a bit in the CBD. Of course, we'll be here following keenly on what will be transpiring away from the court, outside here, what will be happening in matters to do with security. And of course, the 7-judge bench looking into the 9 issues that are that had been raised in the 7 petitions. I am also here at the Supreme Court that is being held here at the Milimani Law Courts with my colleague Sophia Wanuna, and is on standby on the other end, ready to give us just a sneak preview of what we expect in matters to do with the ruling and how the arguments maybe went for the last 3 days. That's between Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and what the counsel, the lead counsel in different parties, petitioners and respondents, had to say. So I want to hand over to Sophia Wanuna on the other end. Sophia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Karaoke. Indeed, we are live here at the Supreme Court of Kenya, and you have laid out how it's looking outside the premises, because I'm facing the court where in just slightly over an hour you will be seeing the 7 judges, the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court, and of course the various counsel representing the petitioners, the respondents, IEBC and other parties, as we saw Wednesday, Thursday and Friday as they mounted a case. Then we saw the defense, and the rejoinders followed. And the last 2 days, the judges have retreated. They have been considering the issues raised. And just a reminder, there are 9 issues for consideration in the consolidated petitions. Initially, at the deadline of filing presidential election petitions, a total of 9 petitions were filed. Thereafter, 2 were struck out. That's the one by Moses Kuria and Ruben Kigame. Then the 7 were consolidated into 9 issues. Those 9 issues is what today we will hear the 7-judge bench speak to in as far as their findings and their orders. There were spirited cases and defense filed and submissions on Wednesday by the petitioners, led by lead counsel for the petitioners. We saw James Orengo accompanied by a battery of other lawyers representing Raila Odinga, Martha Karua and 6 other petitioners. And then Thursday we heard from the respondents, and this of course one of the respondents being the IEBC, and the lead counsel there for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission team was Githu Muigai, former Attorney General, senior counsel. And for William Ruto, it was Fred Ngatia, senior counsel. We also saw the Attorney General represented by senior counsel George Oraro appear. And so submissions as to all of these petitions were seeking a nullification of the election of President-elect William Ruto. And that is what in about over an hour at exactly midday here, the Supreme Court, the 7-judge bench led by the President of the Supreme Court, Martha Koome, will be rendering and issuing that verdict. Will they uphold the decision of IEBC that in fact William Ruto was elected the 5th president, or will they nullify and that the country would be going back to another election within the next 60 days? In a matter of time we will know, but this is a big day, history in Kenya. It will definitely go down the annals of history as that day that a decision was made regarding the 9th of August election. Now, to take us through some of those issues, and by the way, I've been coming down the stairs, where in about 30 minutes or so, we'll begin to see this council and their parties that have they were part of in terms of the teams, the legal teams arriving. This is where they'll be walking in. Remember, tight security. If you do not have the requisite accreditation, you will not get here. But even that starts outside, as we saw explained by Karaoke. It's a huge parameter that, in fact, has been cordoned off, and only personnel that have been cleared and can be here definitely have that authorization. So, important to note, what are those 9 issues that the judges of the Supreme Court will be rendering verdict on? And just remind us who are those judges. You have Justices Ouko, you have Njoki Ndongo, Ibrahim Mohammed, you have Lenaola Justice, Smokin Wanjala as well, of course the DCJ, that's Mwilu, and the Chief Justice Kome. 7 judges, and there's a reason you have the number 7. It's an odd number, and that's to ensure, in as far as the decision is concerned, there is never a hung decision, in that if it was an even number where you could have judges go 3-3. So what we are likely to see today, probable unanimity in either upholding or nullifying, or it could go 6-1, 5-2, 4-3, you name it. These are scenarios that are all open. But the beauty is, at the end of the day, because it's by majority, there will be a decision. And also important to note for Kenyans, that decision is final. The Supreme Court of Kenya has original and exclusive jurisdiction in as far as presidential election petitions are concerned. This is the 4th petition we are witnessing. The first was in 2013. In 2017, many remember the first, but forget there was a second one, that after the repeat election, there was indeed another election petition filed. And so this is the 4th petition we are witnessing, and we will see how the judges will rule. In 2017, remember, when the presidential election was nullified, it was a 4-2 decision, and you saw Justices Ojwang and Njoki Ndongo dissenting. However, it was the decision of the 4 majority that carried the day. And so today, Kenyans will be keenly waiting, watching, and listening. Also key to note, because of the timeline, remember they've only had 2 days to retreat and conference and deliberate and discuss on the issues that they got to hear about. This will be a summary judgment that, yes, you will get indication as to all the 9 issues, what their findings are, but it is about 2 months or so later that then you will have those very long, comprehensive, detailed explanations around their judgments. It would be impossible for them in the time they have had to have that comprehensive judgment. The same happened in 2017 and in 2013, where a summary judgment will be read out by the judges, giving a clear picture of their finding. And very decisive. As we said, you cannot appeal. This decision is final. What they find, that's it. If they find in favor of William Ruto and uphold his election on 7 days following this decision on a Tuesday, he will be sworn in. That should be next Tuesday, next week, Tuesday. However, if they nullify the election, then within 60 days, we are going to a repeat election. So to quickly take us through some of those key issues that we'll be waiting to hear from the judges today is the standard of technology that was used by the IEBC. That's a crucial area. And also interference. Was there interference, the uploading of forms in that system? Of course, we'll take you through more of those issues. But as it stands now, we've started seeing arrivals here by some of the council arriving for the various parties. And perhaps I'll walk back to this other side so that we can see some of those arriving because it is now 10:22. So in an hour and a half, it will be all systems go. All parties, of course, must be seated ahead of time. The judge is expected here by midday. A little bit later, I'll be taking you through some of the issues. But we have got this verdict, the supreme verdict, covered for you the way only we can. And we've got our eyes and ears around the country, and most importantly, trained here at the Supreme Court of Kenya. My colleague, Willie Lusige, is standing by for us in Kibra. And Willie, Kibra is a stronghold. I remember I was there on the 15th of August when they were announcing the results and the anticipation and expectation. I imagine today, once again, all eyes are waiting for the decision, because for Raila Odinga, who once led that area and constituency before when it was Langata constituency, he has lost now 4 presidential elections. This is the 5th. I remember they were telling me on the 15th of August, it cannot be. He needs to take this one. So So their expectation, I believe, is that it will go their way. However, for William Ruto, the flip side is he has won every election he has contested in. So if this is upheld, it will be historic for him that his streak of wins will stand unchallenged. Lusige, over to you.
Many thanks, Sophia. Perfect description of what is transpiring today at the Supreme Court. And the main question is one, will the Supreme Court be able to nullify or uphold the August 9th election results, especially in regard to the presidential election? We know what transpired during that time, and William Ruto was declared as a president-elect. But the other side, led by the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga, went to the Supreme Court to be able to petition that winning. And that way, you have said this is one of the strongholds here in Kibra, because he has had a massive support previously. All the 4 seasons that he has been able to vie for presidency, and he has not been able to clinch that top seat, then definitely Kibra has been one of his strongholds in regard to Nairobi County, in regard also to other places within the country. But all the eyes are on what will transpire today at the Supreme Court. You have already noted that most probably you'll be able to know the verdict around 12 p.m., which is around midday in the course of the day. But you can feel that anxiety, you can feel that fear of the people, especially here in Kibra. Most of the roads have now been left alone, with only a few vehicles that you can be able to see, a few people trying to be able to catch up maybe to their homesteads and be able to follow these proceedings through the TV. But most importantly is to have a feeling of the people. What do they expect from today's ruling? This being one of the political hotbed for Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga, then definitely what do they expect? Are they willing to accept the ruling as per what the 7 judges will be able to decide today? And I'll be speaking to some of them in a moment. Mama, karibu sana kwenye KTN News. Tutaanza na jina lako. Leo tunatarajia mahakama ya upeo kuweza kutoa uamuzi ambao ni muhimu sana. Uamuzi ambao tuliona mara ya mwisho mwaka 2017. Labda wewe unatarajia nini na uko tayari kwa matokeo?
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Halima na niko tayari kwa matokeo, lakini tunataka William Samoei Ruto apewe haki yake, kwa sababu tulipiga kura ya amani na tuko na amani mpaka sai, na yeye alikuwa ndio mshindi, ni rais wetu wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Lakini tunajua mahakama inaweza kutoa uamuzi pande wowote, inaweza kutangaza kwamba labda yale matokeo hayakuwa sawa, labda turudi kwenye uchaguzi, ama yaweze kukubali jinsi naibu wa rais William Ruto alivyoweza kutangazwa. Labda wewe uko tayari kukubali kila kitu?
Tuko tayari, tutaheshimu amri ya mahakama. Hata tukirudi kwa uchaguzi bado ni Samoei Ruto tu ndio atakuwa ni mshindi.
Na labda watu wa Kibra wamejipanga aje amani mwaka huu? Tumeona mmekuwa watulivu.
Tuko na amani sana, hatuna shida. Hata tunatangamana na wenzetu wa Azimio na nini, na wote tunaimba amani, hatuna maneno, tunasema yule ataingia na aingie.
Kwa hivyo mara ya kwanza mweza kuweka siasa zenyu tofauti za kisiasa kando?
Tumeweka siasa tofauti kando.
Ujumbe wako kwa Wakenya?
Ujumbe ni amani. Yoyote yule ataingia ni amani tu. Wamama amani.
Asante sana, tunakutakia kila la heri. Bingwa, unaitwa nani? Naambiwa wewe unashughulika na masuala ya usafiri hapa. Kwanza biashara imekuwaje?
Biashara imekuwa ngumu sana. Tangu wakati mambo ya kura ilianza, tulikuwa tunapona kutoka corona. Kura ikarudi ikaingia ndani. Kazi imerudi chini kabisa. Hata ila kipato tunapata ni kidogo sana. Mimi kwa majina naitwa Hezbon. Ile kitu yenye mimi ningeomba, hii mambo ya kura kupigwa, mara kura inarudiwa, ati kwa sababu pengine pande hii haijaridhika, pande hii hajafanya nini. Wacha tuwe tukipiga kura mara moja, na tukishapiga kura tukimaliza kupiga, ule mwenye atakuwa anapewa kuwa yeye ndio kiongozi, tunakubali anatuongoza, kwa sababu yeye ni Mkenya, sisi pia ni Wakenya.
Labda leo unatarajia nini? Uamuzi ukienda upande huu ama huu, uko tayari kukubali matokeo?
Sisi tuko tayari kukubali, kwa sababu sisi ni watu wenye tunaheshimu mahakama, na ile uamuzi yenye mahakama itatupa ikisema ina uphold the winning of His Honorable William Samoei Ruto, tunakubali. Ikisema watu warudi debeni, sisi tuko tayari, tunakubaliana nayo. Ila tu tunaomba Wakenya wenzetu wadumishe amani.
Siri ni gani? Mara hii tumeona hapa Kibra watu wametulia, wanaendelea na shughuli zao, licha kwamba kuna hofu kidogo, lakini nini imefanya amani imekuwepo kipindi hiki?
Ile kitu yenye inasaidia sana, mara nyingi hapo awali kulikuwa wakati ikifika kama huu wa uchaguzi, unapata wamemwaga askari wengi kila mahali. Lakini mwaka huu tunaona hakuna sehemu yoyote ukipita ni mwananchi kwa mwananchi, hakuna mahali penye mwananchi anakutana na askari. Wale askari walikuwa wanachochea raia, akiona askari anaona ni kama kunatakikana kuwe na mbio ndio kidogo, lakini wakati huu ni amani kila kote.
Asante sana. Labda tumalizie na wewe bingwa kwa sekunde 30, jina lako na ujumbe wako leo. Takushikia.
Kwa majina naitwa Thomas Nyapeta kutoka Kisii. Ni mkaaji wa hapa Nairobi, nafanya kazi ya matatu. Na kitu mimi naomba wa Kenya tusubiri tuongoje matokeo nini tutaambiwa leo. Hakuna kusema ati huyu alishinda na huyu akashinda. Kama ulinyang'anya huyu utarudishiwa kitu yako. Kama hujanyang'anya mtu utakana yako. Na nisisema ati huyu alichukua ama huyu akachukua. Mahakama ndiyo inatoa uamuzi. Sio sisi wa chini tunatoa uamuzi. Na sisi hatuna ukweli. Sasa tuongoje ile yenye tutaambiwa leo.
Asante sana. Kabla tuungane na mwenzangu Elvis Kosgei, sekunde 30 bingwa, umesubiri kwa muda mrefu, jina lako na matarajio yako leo.
Mimi naitwa Jared Juma, mfanyabiashara wa hapa namba 8. Matarajio yangu ni kwamba koti iamue kulingana na vile mwananchi alikuwa anataka. Na tena naona amani bado iko na watu wasubiri, kwa sababu kilicho na mwanzo lazima kiwe na mwisho, na mwisho ni leo. Kwa hivyo yule rais ambaye koti itatupatia ama ule uamuzi ambao koti itaamua, sisi wananchi tukubaliane nayo kulingana na vile koti imeamua. Na amani ni kitu ya muhimu. Tukae na amani, kwa sababu hakuna nchi ambayo tutahamia. Hii ndio Kenya yetu ambao tumezaliwa ndani, na lazima tuishi hapa na tuvumiliane. Ni hayo tu.
Asante sana. So definitely you can hear from the people of Kibra. They are willing, even though they have their different political factions that they support, they are saying they are ready to accept the Supreme Court ruling the way they did in 2017, and what they are calling on is peace and peace across the country. And from what that gentleman had earlier noted, that maybe because of the lack of presence of police everywhere in every corner here in Kibra, that's the reason why that most of the people here have decided to observe calmness and peace and wait for the Supreme Court ruling around midday. But now let's shift all the way to Eldoret and get in touch with my colleague Elvis Kosgei, also to tell us what's they're feeling there. Elvis.
The situation is replicated here in the County of Champions, Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, where residents are anxiously waiting for the Supreme Court verdict, even as the judges are expected to make a determination on issues surrounding the integrity of the election and the legality of declaring President-elect William Ruto as the President-elect. Nitazungumza na baadhi yenu, tusikie maoni. Najua mmekuwa mkisubiri tangia mida ya asubuhi, mambo namna gani, ni yapi ambayo mnatarajia na utakuwa ukitazama ukiwa wapi?
Basi asante kwa nafasi hii ambalo nimepokea kwa hii vijana yangu. Asante. Majina ni Chomba Koech. I'm came from Nandi County, Masop constituency, Kapsaka Ward. Asante kwa nafasi hii ambalo tumeipokea tukiwa hapa Eldoret. Jambo nzuri, tunasubiri kule Supreme Court kwa mambo mazuri ambayo tunahitaji, na tunataka hapa Eldoret amani. Tunataka amani popote Kenya nzima, because I'm saying today, brothers, sisters and all of us, all Kenya, because I'm saying let to reach base. My name Chomba Koech. Sina mambo mengi, ni hayo majaji, tunataka na amani. Mimi ndio nilisema ya kwamba siku ile ya kwamba mimi niliona ndoto Ruto akiwin, na ninajua kwamba hata huko wakati hii atawin, na hiyo mambo itakuwa mzuri. God bless you. God bless you brothers. Thank you. God bless you.
Asante kaka. Wanakuita nani na unatarajia yapi siku leo?
Yeah, naitwa Shillington Ruto kutoka Uasin Gishu hii, kutoka hapa Koita constituency. Hii ni siku ambayo tumekuwa tukisubiri kwa hamu na hamumu, iwapo si hamu na gamu, kupata matokeo rasmi kuhusiana na kesi ambayo bwana Raila Odinga alipeleka kwenye mahakama ya upeo. Na bila shaka sisi kama wenyeji ama wakazi wa bonde la Ufa tuko ngangari kabisa na imara kupata matokeo ambayo si tofauti na kwamba Rais William Samoei Ruto ndiye watano, na hapo ndipo tupo. Shukrani sadati.
Asante sana. Naona kuna mama hapa, hata tuongelesha majina yake. Ni yapi ambayo umekuwa tukitarajia? Naona kwamba residents wa Uasin Gishu hii leo wako mjini, ni kama wanasubiria, sijui atakuwa kitazamia wapi. Mambo yako namna gani, na binafsi yako ni yapi unatarajia?
Kwa majina naitwa Veronica Chepkemei Burgei. Mimi natoka Uasin Gishu County, constituency ya Kapseret, ambaye mbunge wangu ni Oscar Sudi. Sisi hapa Uasin Gishu County tumekaa ngangari kabisa na tunaona mambo yanaendelea kama kawaida. Matarajio yetu sisi kama wakaaji wa Uasin Gishu ni kwamba tunatarajia matokeo mazuri na tuko na hakika ya kwamba Supreme Court watafanya kitu yenye itapendeza sisi, kwa sababu tunaona ni watu wenye wamehitimu kabisa kwa mambo, kwa kazi zao. Tunatarajia kwamba wakati watatangaza, wakati watafanya kesi zao, wataamua kesi, wataamua kulingana na vile wameona wao wenyewe, na sisi hatuna shaka lolote, na tunatarajia kwamba makamu wa rais ambaye atakuwa the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya ndiye atachukua marks mingi sana katika hiyo uamuzi.
Asante sana. Tuna kijana hapa, unakuita nani, utarajia yapi?
Kwa majina ni Wesley Kimtaiketer, mkachi ya Uasin Gishu. Hapa Uasin Gishu bado tunamgojea huyo ni mchaji mkuu Martha Koome, tunasubiria watuambie ni wapi tunaelekea. Kama ni kuelekea kupiga kura ni sawa, kama ni Ruto anatangaza ni sawa. So tumetumanisha amani. Tunasema
asante sana. Wacha nimalize na mzee, tutaendelea tuna mahojiano tukapa mchana mzima.
Okay, kwa majina naitwa Jonathan Gurkat, mkazi wa Bonde la Ufa, Uasin Gishu. Leo tunatarajia mema kutoka kwa Supreme Court. Tuko na imani kwamba watatoa maamuzi ambayo itafaa na maamuzi ambayo itakuwa ya transparency wa mambo ambayo waliweza kupata katika kotini.
Haya kijana, kwa sekunde 10 tu malizia.
Kwa majina naitwa Sirma, natoka Uasin Gishu Elgeyo Marakwet, lakini nimekuja Uasin Gishu ndio tutasherehekea. Nafikiri uamuzi wa Supreme Court utakuwa uamuzi wa haki, na uamuzi wote ile uwe unatufeva ama haitatufeva. Naomba wakazi wa Uasin Gishu na wakazi wa Bonde la Ufa tukae dumisha amani, maana bado Kenya ni yetu na Kenya ni yetu zote, na niko na uhakika kwamba tukienda uchaguzi maybe a rerun or runoff vile wataitisha, tuko ready. Wakisema Ruto abisho, tuko ready. So si tuko sawa kwa yote ile.
Asante sana. Coming from the political bastion of President-elect William Samoei Arap Ruto, who was born in Kamoret sub-location, Sambut village, Kamagut area in the county of Uasin Gishu. Residents here are exuding confidence that the Apex Court will rule in favor of their son, who's the President-elect William Samoei Ruto. Now from the county of Uasin Gishu, now let's cross over to the lakeside where my colleague Bramwell is on standby. Bramwell, what is happening in the county of Kisumu?
Thank you, Kosgei, all the way from Eldoret, and that is Uasin Gishu. We're here in the lakeside city. This is Kisumu County, and it's approximately 30 kilometers from this place to Bondo town, where it's the resident of Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Amolo Odinga. But here, as you have said in Uasin Gishu, people are praying that the win by the Deputy President William Ruto will be upheld. Here also in Kisumu City, guys are up in prayers, fingers crossed that their son Raila Amolo Odinga will be declared. Remember, Raila Odinga has been trying to get this seat for the 4th time. This will be the 5th time, but this time they are praying that the High Court, the Supreme Court, will have its say, will follow everything in as it was presented by the lawyers of the petitioner, to ensure that they null the victory by the Deputy President and maybe order the country to go for a rerun. But this county of Kisumu has pretty been calm throughout, and we really want to know what has caused the calmness, what has caused the peaceful coexistence of residents in this particular place. And to get further information about this, we are being joined here by one peace ambassador who is going to tell us in a nutshell what has happened until this place is now peaceful. And guys are really waiting for the announcement, which is set to be announced around 12 midday in a very peaceful way. Welcome. What is your name, and maybe what is the secret for this peaceful environment?
Thank you very much. My name is Millicent Oucho. I am a peace ambassador and a cohesion champion. Indeed, we are very grateful and thankful to the people of Kisumu because they have shown their resilience, they have shown their responsibility as citizens and as people who love their county, because we know that many people had anticipated that if the election did not go the way of the Azimio leader, Kisumu was going to be on fire. But Kisumu has shown the world and everybody else that they are peaceful and they can debate, constructively, and that they know that there is a race, that this race to the State House is a competition, and there are the two main contenders, and one of them comes from here or is a preferred candidate from this region, and the other is the preferred candidate from another region. And what they are saying is, ultimately we are Kenyans, and we want to move on. Kisumu people are saying we want opportunities for investment. They are saying, you know what, elections are there, but we must eat. People are hungry. They want to be able to do businesses. And they were hopeful that if their candidate wins, then there will be some, benefits that will be coming to the region. As we have seen, the shipyard is here. We're very excited about the lobbying that the Azimio flag bearer has done for this region. And Kisumu is looking beautiful. And that is why people are saying, please don't think that we are just stone throwers. We are very peaceful people. We are loving the nation and we love ourselves and we don't want to destroy ourselves. But we are eagerly waiting and hopeful because they are saying they are rooting for their candidate and they would love to see the results being in favor of their candidate. And that's the Azimio flag.
Maybe, Millicent, this is a place that has been earmarked as one of the hot spots, and we have seen even the U.S. Embassy issuing a clarion call to their residents not to be in the city on this Monday. What is your take on that?
Well, I am a peace practitioner, and I know that we normally use research and analysis, and we do studies, and we look at patterns and trends that may point us to risks and threats that may destabilize the peacefulness of a region. I don't know what informed the U.S. Embassy this particular time, because we know that before the elections, the NCIC had done a research and they had shared their findings, and Kisumu was just amongst many. And, to reprofile or to rebrand the place as a place that is a hotspot, for us, we felt that there needed to be more grounding. We didn't see anything that was pointing us towards that direction. However, we are careful because we know that in the past, the presidencies, there have been signals of people becoming a bit sometimes unruly and rowdy. Except this time around, a lot of work has gone into educating the people, and people themselves have shown that they are not unruly and they are not rowdy. And I don't know what informed the advisory. And I think, in my opinion, also as a resident of Kisumu, it was ill-informed. Because I've been talking to the people in the citizen bunges, and people are saying, why should we be labeled, And this labeling of Kisumu as a fragile place is disenfranchising the people. They are asking, is there something that the U.S. Embassy knows that we don't know? Because we are peaceful. So why should you tell your people to get out? How comes other people are not giving those kind of advisory? So we are not very happy about it. But for me, I want to know what informed that advisory, because that may help us understand why they are saying so.
Thank you, Millicent. And I'm being joined here by a young man who has been eager from 9 a.m., really wanting to speak to us. I'm seeing he's putting on a badge by the one Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate. Maybe karibu sana ndugu, mnatarajia nini wakati ambapo taifa linasubiri saa 6 kutolewa kule uamuzi wa mahakama kuu?
Kwanza kwa majina naitwa Moses Pasapasa, mkaja hapa Kisumu County, Kisumu Central. Niko na furaha sana kama siku ya leo tunasherekea justice inakuja. Tunasema before after election ile Mandela moment inakuja for Raila Amolo Odinga for leo. Sasa yote napeleka kwa ujumbe yangu, naombea kwanza Martha Koome afanye justice nini yake, sheria yake tosha bila kupendelea upande huu au upande huu. Afanye atoe maleko yake kwa vizuri, afanye bila kuoga, bila kusema mara anapenda Azimio, mara anapenda Yuda. Asimame kama independent candidate kabisa. Hasa kama leo tuko hapa Kisumu County. Si wamesema ati Kisumu County ni hotspot. Hapana, si hotspot. Wale vile tunashaba biashara pole. Tunasherekea, hakuna. Alafu kuna kitu nataka nikwambie wananchi.
Kwa dakika moja.
Kuna kitu walisema US Embassy. Ati Kisumu watu wasikuje ya US. Lakini lakini alifanya kitu mbaya kuharibu Kisumu County sifa. Please embassy.
Asante, thank you. Is a young man here who really believes that Kisumu County is peaceful. But we're being joined here by still the Madam Millicent. You seem to have forgotten something that you really wanted to put across.
Yeah, I believe that it is important, as my brother has said, that Kisumu is peaceful. But we also wanted the world to know that we are looking at a race. It's a competition. We know that things may go our way, and that's what we desire. But we also know that things may not go our way, and that is what we don't desire, but it will be something that we'll have to contend with. And we are also saying that if there is an opportunity for a rerun, it is yet another opportunity for our democracy to grow, and also for us to get back to the ground and tell our people why it is important that your voice must count. Because this is a democratic process, and the more we have people who can bring policies and create an environment where investment can thrive, we can do wealth creation. And I think the main concern for us after COVID ni kuweka chakula mezani. Watu wanataka kuendelea na maisha, and if we have good leadership, we want people of integrity. Electoral justice is what is on trial today. And whatever the outcome, we are sure that the court will pronounce itself, and we shall have learned, and we shall better our democracy, and the electoral process cannot be, it cannot be business as usual. And I think this is one thing that we must not forget.
Thank you. Those are some of the sentiments by residents here in Kisumu City who believe that as much as peaceful coexistence is important, it is also incoherent that the region and the area has justice. And they are really waiting and calling up the Supreme Court to ensure that they follow and they do everything in order to ensure that there is justice and there is peaceful coexistence. Now, from here in Kisumu City, I'm being joined by a colleague who is in Kakamega, an area that is also perceived to be a stronghold of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate. That is Alan Ochanda, who is in Kakamega County. Alan.
Yes, Bram, yes indeed, here in Kakamega it's quite calm here. Remember that in the past elections we've seen Azimio leader Raila Odinga really enjoying quite massive following here in Kakamega and Western Kenya by extension. But of course, during these elections, we saw an upstage by William Ruto, the president-elect here. We saw really taking a substantive chunk of votes. We saw running away with the Bungoma completely. We saw him eating into the chunk of Raila Odinga in Kakamega here, and even in Busia. Remember that William Ruto, when he was, of course, still with the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta, they were really performing dismally in Busia. But during this year's elections, we saw William Ruto really performing better than they actually did in 2013 and in 2017. And so we are expecting that Kenya is actually like a pregnant mother. And of course at 12 noon, we are expecting that the 7 morticians, 3 women and 4 men, shall be maybe just making it official as to whether Mother Kenya will be giving birth to a male or a female child. And so either way, we must have a decision. That of course, that verdict by the Supreme Court as to whether they will be nullifying or upholding the win of President-elect William Ruto. Those are some of the 2 decisions we are expecting. But of course, as we wait, Kenyans are actually quite anxious. Anxiety is quite palpable. And so here in Kakamega, the residents are quite anxious. They actually, of course, they actually inclined to the 2 factions, either Kenya Kwanza or Azimio. Let's just speak to them to just hear what they really feel, what they expect of the rulings here. Maybe ndugu karibia tu hapa, utueleze tu jina lako, unatarajia nini pengine ikifika saa 6, tunatarajia kwamba majaji watakuwa wakitoa uamuzi wao mwendo wa saa 6. What do you expect?
Asante. Mimi kwa majina naitwa Nixon Mdomi Fedha, nikiwa mkaaji wa kaunti ya Kakamega. Na sisi Kakamega, mnajua kutoka kitambo, sisi ni watu wa amani. Hata wakati tumekuwa tukichelewesha upigaji kura kwa ajili ya governor, tulikuwa tumekaa tu na utulivu, na tena matokeo iliyotokea tulikubali. Hata kama tuko kwa mirengo tofauti, lakini sisi ni watu wa mtu mmoja. So matokeo haya yanaweza kutangazwa ambao ni ya rais. Kakamega, watu wote tunaendelea na shughuli zetu kama kawaida, na sidhani kama tuna utofauti, tutakubali yote ambayo yatakayotokea. Sababu wote kiongozi wa Azimio Raila Odinga na kiongozi wa
wa Kenya Kwanza, William Ruto Dr. ambaye ni rais mteua kwa saa hizi, wote ni watoto wetu. So wakitoa uamuzi wote, tuko tayari Kakamega sisi tuendelee kufanya kazi. Sababu hii vitu imekwamisha vitu mingi. Kazi imesimama kidogo, pesa hakuna na tuna njaa. Sisi tunataka watangaze, wamalize haraka tuweze kuendelea na kazi yetu kama kawaida. Asante.
Asante sana. Umenena kama mzee, kongole sana. Asante kwa wosia wako. Naam, pengine utueleze jina lako, utueleze kana kwamba pengine mwendo wa saa 6 we are expecting that verdict by the 7 judges at the Supreme Court. What of course is the feeling here and what do you expect?
Kwa majina naitwa Eric Masafu, overall chairman wa Kakamega County as a whole. Mimi kama kiongozi wenyu ninaomba amani kwa watu wangu wote. Ninaomba kwamba mimi kama kiongozi nataka amani kwa kila yote, because tuna expect kwamba akiwa William Ruto tutapokea, akiwa Raila Odinga kwamba watasema wanarudia election, sisi we are ready. Kitu ambacho tunataka wanabiashara na wakaaji wa Kakamega as a whole, tunaomba kwamba tutumize amani. Amani ndio tunataka, na mimi tunangoja lolote. Tumengoja lolote kama viongozi, tumengoja lolote. Asanteni sana.
Naam, asante sana. Unasema kwamba wito ni amani. Pengine hata waamue hivi ama hivi, wito ni amani. Kisongea hapa tu, utueleze jina lako, unatarajia nini?
Kwa majina naitwa Philip Wakama, mkazi wa Kakamega, mambo na transport. Kitu ambacho nahitaji sana ni amani. Uamuzi wa mahakama, tunaamini mahakama yetu iko sawa kabisa. Uamuzi ambao utakaotoa aidha pande ile nyingine, pande nyingine. Mimi nilikuwa mtu ya Azimio, lazima nipige upato pande yangu, nione Raila Amolo Odinga anapewa ushindi, ama hii kura tuirudie na tuwe na amani. Nashukuru kwa wakati mwema.
Na asante sana. Kwa sababu ya muda tutakuwa bado tukizungumza mwendo wa baadaye. Lakini Purity, looking at the situation here, the clarion call is peace, to ensure that residents here actually uphold peace. Of course here they're actually inclined to different and of course the two main factions of Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. But of course the few people I've spoken to, they're really the clarion call is to ensure peace prevails, whether the decision, the verdict goes their way or not. But Purity, we shall be waiting here, because remember that William Ruto, the president-elect, and Azimio leader Raila Odinga share the spoils and fortunes of the elections here in Western Kenya, specifically Kakamega County. So we shall be still here when that verdict is actually rendered by the 7 judges of the Supreme Court. Purity.
Alan Ochanda, thank you so much, and our team of reporters and colleagues on the ground doing an excellent job this day when the Supreme Court of Kenya is expected to give a verdict on whether William Ruto was elected as president, whether they are going to uphold or nullify that particular election. Then supporters across the country are waiting, but one thing they have in common is that they are going to really accept the verdict by the Supreme Court. Now, we are expecting to see a 7-judge bench that is expected to give a verdict, and that bench will be led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, and she right there serves as the council member. She served as a council member of the Law Society of Kenya. She is the one who sits at the helm of the judiciary and the Supreme Court, acting as a link between the judiciary and the other arms of the government. We will also on the bench be having the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, and Philomena Mwilu boasts a 33-year-long career in that particular in the judiciary of Kenya, and she also has graduating from the University of Nairobi with a Bachelor's of Law. She was also admitted as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and we also the third judge that we'll be seeing today on that bench is Justice William Ouko, and Justice William Ouko again has a 34-year experience in the legal profession, and he also serves as the President of Court of Appeal since his appointment in the year 2018. The fourth judge, Justice Njoki Ndungu, and remember she was one of the judges that had a dissenting voice in the 2017 election, and so she serves as the judge at the Supreme Court of Kenya. Also in 2016, Justice Ndungu again, right there. Yes, Ndungu, that's what we have. In 2006, she was awarded a UN Person of the Year. So we also have Justice Mohammed Ibrahim. Remember, in 2017, he was reportedly ill, and so he did not take part in that judgment. And so in 1994, he established Mohammed Ibrahim and Advocates, which subsequently expanded to become what the law firm that it's there. So he's also expected to make his judgment. We also have Isaac Lenaola. He also, Lenaola was part of the 4 judges that nullified President Uhuru Kenyatta's election, and so he will also be on that bench. In 2013, he was appointed as a judge at the Residential Special Court of Sierra Leone. We also have Smoking Wanjala. Smoking Wanjala also nullified the election of President Uhuru Kenyatta. He has been there after his appointment in 2011. So those are some of the judges that we have, 7 judges that are set. As my colleague Sophia Nuna said, there are 7 because we are not going to see a tie this time round because there are 7. So it's either a unanimous decision to either uphold or nullify, or a 6-by-1 decision, 2 by 5 or 3 by 4 at the same time. And the judgment will be coming your way live right here from noon as reported. Thank you so much for watching KTN News Center. My name is Purity Museo. Coming up next is an Algeri. Keep watching KTN News and stay blessed.